The thing is, if we were out in public and somebody spoke to you like that in front of me, they'd be tasting the tarmac.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Alexis Blake.
And I'm Liam Blake.
And this is episode
18
18 of our podcast, The
Blake
Blake Debate. Woo! So today, we are going to be talking about, how do I phrase it? The surgeries, my surgeries, what surgeries I've had. And there is a reason for this. Do you want to explain why?
Yes, so this podcast is inspired by a comment that Alexis recently got on our podcast video the last one we did with Dylan. And upon reading this comment, Alexis,
quite harsh.
Yes, it is quite harsh. And Alexis was a little bit heated over it and naturally replied.
I would say frustrated, maybe a bit heated. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. And like when I read this comment, well, we'll read the comment first and then we'll
go into the details why. But I'm going to explain
into it.
Not all the surgeries I've had, but some of them and how I've got them and the time frames and different things like that. So let's just jump into it, shall we?
Let's dive right into it.
Okay, let's go.
So I'm going to keep this person's identity. We're just going to blank it out. We tend to do that.
Yeah, I think so. I think
we don't want to bring any hate anyone's way or whatnot. I mean, the comment's there publicly. They've written it publicly, so it can be viewed publicly. So people who are inclined to go view it can go view it. But I mean, we're not going to broadcast it, is what I mean, as in who it is.
I was just going to say one thing before Liam reads it. I do understand where this person's coming from in some of the things they're saying, but it's how it's worded and how it's coming after me. That's where I had the problem with it. So I could have had an open conversation about what they're talking about, but it's the way that it's coming at me.
Just for a bit of context, on our recent podcast, we interviewed Dr. Dylan Fernando from the treatment rooms in London. He's a hair transplant specialist, and his kind of
speciality.
His speciality is feminisation of the hairline for trans women, for example.
Yeah.
But he does hair transplants for all different types of people. And this comment that we got, it was kind of in response to...
It was in response to that because I have had that surgery, not with that specific surgeon. I've spoke about it before. Dylan reached out and wanted to create a video for, I'd say, more educational purposes.
Yeah, it's just educational purposes.
The cat.
Hi, cat.
You're just going to rub yourself against all the microphones now. Okay. Do you want to read the...
So, yeah, let's just
dive into the comment. The anticipation.
I've known many women who struggled with hair loss and the cost to them. And this is just one example. It angers me that these services are popping up everywhere for men transitioning when women could and should have benefited from this first. FFS, female feminization surgery. Do you know how many women with PCOS could benefit from female feminization surgery, but it's not being offered? I'm sick of it. I've seen trans women jump the queue for breast surgery, whilst women awaiting reconstruction after cancer are pushed down the list. I'm glad these services are available to you, but women have been restricted and denied for a millennia. I'd appreciate you taking a back seat until all women's surgical needs are met. Sorry, not sorry.
Okay,
it's right. A lot into it.
It was a lot, and I understand where she's coming from. So let's start there before we go into why I got defensive. So I understand, especially around PCOS, perimenopause, menopause, it can cause a lot of trauma for women. I can't understand that fully because I'm not a biological woman, as they always say, but I can understand why, especially like things like hair loss. So as a trans woman, hair is an innate feminine thing to have, and one of my personal biggest sources of my dysphoria that I used to have was my hair. I was receding quite badly. We can put pictures in maybe. And it was the first surgery that I wanted, and it's the first surgery that I got. So I understand by the femininity aspect of it why she's mad at it. But I just want to say right out the gate, I'm not sure how it is in America with insurers and everything like that, but here in the UK, the NHS will only cover bottom surgery.
Yeah.
That is it. Nothing else. No FFS, no breast augmentation, no hair transplant. Everything else we have to do ourselves or through private medical insurance.
It's classed as beauty treatment. What's the other word? It's like aesthetics.
Yeah, but even with private medical insurers, I don't even think hardly any of them, or if any of them, cover most surgeries. So right out the gate, all of my surgeries I have paid for myself with a little bit of help from Liam, my own savings that I've had throughout my life. My mum's helped me, and one of them I even got on a bank loan. So I understand the frustration, but here in the UK, trans women generally pay for all of our surgeries, unless it's maybe bottom surgery, which can be done on the NHS.
But even if and when it can be done on on the NHS, bottom surgery is not like you just jump in a queue and you get...
Oh my gosh,
it's
no.
a huge, long procedure. And the issues I have with this comment are, it's almost like it's saying that trans
Everything's
women...
our fault.
Yeah, it's trans women's fault, and trans women are pushing women out of the way to get to the front of the queue, and that's not the case. Like,
Not
again,
in the UK though, specifically.
like that's literally like what I was saying. Like, in the UK is different to that of America, and we can't change how things are in America.
No.
So we can only talk on our experiences, but we know what it's like in the UK, and we know trans women are not pushing women out of the way.
Insensitive surgeries.
Insensitive surgeries and stuff like that. This comment was just it was so angry. I read that and I was like so angry. But anyway, so Alexis replied, and we're going to read Alexis's reply out.
One more thing I would like to add as well, if that's okay, just in regards to
No, you're not allowed.
just in regards to the NHS. So I got referred back in September, August time of 2021. I've still not seen my NHS doctor yet. It's a 5-year wait just to get your first appointment. And from then, once you have that appointment, I would imagine there's another waiting list. Well, I know there's another waiting list. I couldn't wait, so I did it all privately. So for the hormones through private doctors, and then all the surgeries have been paid for by, like I mentioned before, myself, Liam, and my mum helped me a little bit as well. And a bank loan, which I've paid off now. But even if a trans woman does go through the NHS, it's a 5-year wait to see a doctor, and then it'll be another, I think, around 5-year wait to get the surgery, the big surgery. And that's the only surgery the NHS covers, if that's the route the trans woman wants to go. In America, I understand the insurers might be a bit different, and they might cover, I know some insurers do cover FFS, which would be nice, because if, on all honesty, for me, all these surgeries has been quite expensive. And I'm not done yet, so it is a lot of money to put in. But for me, the reward is that I can look in the mirror and I can feel like my true authentic self. I feel comfortable, more and more comfortable with my own skin, and they make me feel more and more like myself. Like, this is how I feel like I should have been made, but I wasn't. I was made into a boy, and I've just had to try and correct all those things along the way.
But we've done it. You've done it yourself. It's not been through the help of other people and stuff like that.
Other than my mum.
Yeah, other than your mum, but we haven't had help through the taxpayers. Not paid for it.
No, oh my gosh, no.
And the thing is as well, like we work really hard. We pay our taxes, so even if we did use their services, we pay tax like everybody else.
Yeah, with like the NHS and
like
stuff.
In the UK, the NHS is funded by, we pay out of our wages, we pay a thing called national insurance. Everyone in the UK, whether they're working or on benefits, a part of their earnings or income goes to national insurance. So, you know, we are entitled, just like anybody else, to use the National Service of Health because we pay for it. But the point is, we for anything to do with Alexis's transition, hasn't been funded by the taxpayer. When
I started my transition, I was very fortunate that we lived in a very affordable house with friends, so I didn't have great expenses. And like I said before, Liam and my mum chipped in a lot at the start as well. And then through my transition, I have got a better job, which has really helped as well. But that's how I've done it. So anyway, let's move on to what I said back.
Oh yeah, So Alexis, little sassy self, she replied, "I think you need to back off and not be telling me to take a back seat. I think your comment is extremely rude and very assumptuous. Female feminisation surgery is available to me because I'm paying for it myself privately, not through insurance or the NHS for that matter. Me and Liam have paid for all my surgeries I have had so far." Obviously your mum as well, but in the moment that's what you wrote. The person in question, I won't read it in detail, but the person in question did reply then and tried to backpedal a little bit, saying that actually they didn't mean it that way. What they meant was this. But you said you need to take a back seat.
And they swore at me.
And they swore, do you know what I mean? And then one of your other followers actually jumped in and stuck up for you. And
I have noticed that though. Like, sorry to jump in, but
fantastic.
Like when someone like comes to me in whatever way, like you're an ugly man or something, like my followers go at them. Like I just think it's wild that people are so like there for my defense.
No,
it's
I
so
do.
lovely.
I really appreciate it, especially when I see people doing it.
Learning from this, because I'm always like preaching about learning and growing. I think, in all honesty, maybe I should have maybe not responded, or maybe responded not as harsh. But I think in the moment I was so frustrated because, do you know, like when you put a lot of work into something, in anything, not just being trans, anyone, when you put so much time and effort in, and then someone can take it all away with one sentence. And I think that's what bugged me the most, because
well, you're not stealing.
No, it's been a journey to get here, and it's been a long road, a 12-year road that started a long time ago, and I've put put like my heart and soul into my transition, as cringy as that is. So for someone to just say I'm getting it all for free and I've done nothing for it, I think that's where the issue.
That's the vibe that came across with it, and like I mean I responded as well, just basically saying like, you know, how it reads and how you meant it are two different things. It's almost like they were angry at their own system and how it's going for them in that country. I'm assuming it's not here because the person that stuck up for you mentioned America, but like that's not your fault.
It's not, and I understand the frustration. That's the thing. Like now, I've had time to settle and think about it and read back over the comment. I don't normally obsess over comments, just you know. But with that comment in particular, I understand the frustrations that the healthcare for women is still bad. Like that's a whole video for like. Well, there's many videos I could do on it.
Time,
Did you know with tampons, only just this last year starting to use menstrual blood to test tampons?
As opposed to what?
They didn't. Well, either normal blood, and then before that they didn't test them with blood. So all women have been using tampons for all these years, and they've only just now started to test them with menstrual blood to see if they actually are absorbent and work.
Oh, right. So what were they just doing? Just sticking them in sink? And
I don't know. Anyway, healthcare for women isn't great, especially like now we're learning more about perimenopause and menopause and HRT for women, which is fabulous. But I think reflecting on it now, I understand that aspect more. So I apologise myself, and I'll always hold my hands up if I think I've done something wrong. And I think I was a bit harsh. It was just a little frustrating. I personally
don't think you were harsh in that comment. No, and the other follower that, you know, stuck up for you and also agrees. And the thing is, if we were out in public and somebody spoke to you like that in front of me, they'd be tasting the tarmac.
Liam.
They would, honestly.
That's very sweet, thank you.
Like, but I don't understand how somebody can have the audacity to speak to somebody like that over the internet. Like it's not
obviously
right.
The thing is, like, if you look into it, like into this person, I'm assuming there's a lot of anger coming from somewhere, and it's not obviously my fault, but they have some upset about something, and it's just been directed and channeled at me in that moment. So we're just gonna let it go. It happened, but I just wanted to clear that up because I know I've spoke about my surgeries before in bits and bobs here and there, and as I get new followers, people don't know and they might just think, oh, Alexis has just got all this for free and she's not done anything, and I just want people to know that I have
that was the first thing you said. You were like, I don't want people to think.
That's what like frightened me a bit as well. I don't want anyone to think that it's just like been a breeze. I walked into the doctor's, walked out with a hormone prescription, and then your boobs are next week, and then your hair's a week after that, and it's not been like that.
It's been a couple of years process. We've flown to a couple of different countries. We've saved money. It has been a process, and I appreciate it's okay, and I appreciate that not everybody can get the surgeries that they want, and not everyone may be able to pass as well as some other people.
Or afford it, and I'm in a lucky situation that I have been able to.
We are, but we work for what we've got. Like, I've certainly been bad with money.
I wasn't great when I was younger.
In the past, I mean, I've effectively been bankrupt before. I've had to, you know, sell everything I own to pay all my things off and start from scratch. I've even had an IVA in place before when money wasn't good. It wasn't until I met Alexis that I became better with money and I knew what I wanted, and she taught me the ways to save and all that kind of stuff. But like, I'm not from a privileged background. I mean, I grew up in a council house.
So did I.
Well, I know, but like a single parent with 3 kids. You know, I didn't have a lot of money, so we work for what we have now. We work hard and
working class.
Is that what it's called? I don't know.
Yes, working class.
We work hard now. We save our money, and you especially, you work way harder than I do.
No, well, we work in different ways.
We are a team, and we work together well. But I think you work more. You definitely work more.
Hours, maybe, but it doesn't. Anyway,
yeah.
I know it's been a bit of a random video, and if you're still here, thank you for sticking around. Please like and subscribe. We are going to do a question now. If you would like to hear it, I guess, and the answer.
They can't answer you back, you know, when you're asking.
I always expect them like, yes, please.
How would we even find out what they say?
I don't know. Sorry.
Right. So the first question's from Tracy.
My mum's name.
You what?
My mum's name.
Oh, yeah. What if it could be your mum? No,
Can you imagine? No, that's not how you spell my mum's name.
Oh, right. It's not your mum. So Tracy says, one of the hardest things being female is having to be constantly aware and alert when you're out or, say, walking on your own at night, etc. Do you find you're more wary now?
Absolutely. That's so weird because of what happened the other day. Is that why you're doing this question?
No, that's just pure coincidence, but yeah.
Okay.
Tell them.
So yeah, definitely. I don't go anywhere really at night on my own, just by like my lifestyle, I guess. But I do start work really early in the morning, and I start at 6, so I have to get up at 4:30. So at the minute, because it's getting darker outside and it's going to winter, it's dark when I leave for work, and it has freaked me out for a while. I didn't used to get freaked out by that. I would happily walk anywhere as a man at night on my own, but now I can feel it just different. And then someone did approach me the other night whilst I was unplugging my car and getting ready to get into my car and drive off, and they started to walk towards me, which freaked me out a bit. So I just jumped in my car and locked the doors. But I definitely feel
they were acting a bit strange, though, weren't they?
They were acting strange and trying to have a conversation. It was just very uncomfortable. It was very awkward. I was in between our house and next door, so I was like tucked away, and it freaked me out.
Like they stepped into our
property
basically, and it just freaked
so that's
you
why
out,
I jumped in the car. And but yeah, I definitely feel it's different now. It absolutely is different, and I think I felt as a man I was more invisible, and I could just go around the world and not get noticed. Whereas being a trans woman now, for good or bad, I am much more visible, and that comes with all that other stuff, unfortunately.
Yeah,
so,
because you've had like at work and stuff, haven't you? Like you've noticed that men generally do treat you a little bit differently, but bad and good and good ways.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Cool. So last question then is from
Hello.
Peachy Keen 80, and they say, I have a question that isn't specifically about the transition but an outcome of transition, if you don't mind answering. Have you noticed any changes in your immune responses since starting estrogen? I ask because estrogen regulates the immune system and leads to stronger and different immune responses to things like flu.
Do you know what? I've never ever thought about that, because thank you for the question. It's so interesting. To me it is anyway. But no, I've never thought about that. But I haven't had the flu since I've transitioned.
No, you've not.
I've maybe had a light cold once or twice, but in my lifetime I've had like flus and viruses maybe like 5-10 times. But in the last 3 years, touch wood, nothing. Someone the other day commented on my video because I had my arms out, and they're like, "Oh, you've got lovely toned arms. Like, what's your arm workout?" And I'm like, I don't have one. I think it's just because I was born male and then transitioned.
It's clipping me around the ear when I've been a bad boy.
But yeah, I think maybe my immune system has got better. I don't know. It's not something I don't know if it's true or not. I really don't know. But it's not something I've noticed. So thank you.
Are you like a superhero now?
No, well,
Estrogen girl.
Sure, that's my name. Love that.
We are always open for questions. They don't always have to be about Alexis's transition or trans or LGBT. No. It could literally be like, what's your favourite biscuits? We are running out of questions to use though.
I know.
So by all means, please ask some more.
If you do enjoy this kind of content on our podcast, please do like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. It really does help, and it's so cool to see people come back, and we really do appreciate it.
We do really appreciate it. And if you don't want to watch us, you can also listen to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music.
You're getting faster at that. I love it.
I am.
Anyway, thank you so much for listening, and we will see you guys in the next one.
Bye.